Good morning. Good morning. On this rainy Monday morning here, welcome to the capital city. So it's the board's practice that prior to the commencement of our board meeting, before calling the meeting order, a prayer be given. The board member who delivers the prayer may make reference to his or her own religious faith, just as you might refer to yours when offering a prayer. We wish to emphasize, however, that all members of all religious faiths are welcome, and not only in these meetings, but in the community as well. The participation of all citizens in the process of self-government will help our Board of Supervisors to better serve the people of Mecklenburg County. I'd like to call on Mr. Tanner to pray.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Let us pray. Lord God, you have promised where two or three are gathered together in thy name, you will be in the midst of them and bless them. God, we ask you to give us the vision by which we can see your love in this world, in spite of our human failures. Enable us to draw upon the wisdom and experience of yesterday as we respond to the questions and concerns of tomorrow. And guide our hearts and minds that we may do your will and your work together for the betterment of this county. Father God, we ask for your blessings on the citizens of this county, our county employees and their families. And God, we ask you to keep your hand of protection upon our first responders and our military. I pray this prayer in your holy name. Amen.
Amen. We will now call this board meeting to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I hope everyone's had a chance to look at the minutes from our January the 8th meeting. I will entertain a motion to approve those minutes.
Mr. Chair, so moved.
The motion's been made. All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
And the motion carries. Any additions or deletions to the agenda? And one deletion is we won't have the Safe Side Behavioral Health presentation this morning. I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Motion's been made. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Mr. Hendrick?
You have an application by Club with Virginia Electric and Power Company for a special exception permit to construct an equipment and storage yard. This property identified as county tax number 022-000-04-C is on agriculture and is located on the north side of Highway 47 at its intersection with Highway 634 Traffic Road, Election District 7, County of Mecklenburg, reference D Book LR-16-1364.
That is actually in my district, and Mr. Tanner. Okay, we got to get, that's right. Anyone wishing to speak on this matter? If not, we'll open the public hearing. No one wanting to speak on the public hearing, we'll close the public hearing. What's the wishes of the board?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we approve this special exemption permit.
Based on the planning commission.
I forgot that.
Based-
You didn't write it in there. Based on the planning commission.
I thought about it before the meeting. Any other discussion on that? All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
The motion carries.
You have an application from Claudewood, Virginia Electric and Power Company for a special exception permit to construct an equipment and storage yard. This property identified as county tax number 022-000-A-036 is zoned agriculture and located on the north side of Highway 47 at its intersection with Highway 634, Traffic Road, Election District 7, County of Mecklenburg, reference D Book B&P 470-279 and Wheel Book B&P 49-480.
Anyone wishing to speak on behalf of the application? Hearing none, I'll open the public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak on this public hearing about this application? Seeing no one, I'll close the public hearing. The wishes of the board.
Mr. Chairman, again, I'll make a motion that we approve the special exemption permit based on the planning commission's recommendations. We'll get it right the second time.
Any discussion on this? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
And the motion carries. Okay, we got some resolutions. Ms. Lundy, I think you were first with Ms. Virginia Bell.
Mr. Deal. At a meeting of the Board of Supervisors held in for the County of Mecklenburg on February 12, 2024, in the Board of Supervisors meeting room of the Good Bank Building, the board, by unanimous vote, adopted the following resolution. Resolution. Whereas the Mecklenburg County Board of Supervisors does hereby wish to honor Ms. Estelle P. Bell for her life of 110 years. And whereas Ms. Bell is the oldest citizen and registered voter in Mecklenburg County. And whereas she is a lifelong member of the Northview Baptist Church, where she worshiped regularly. And whereas over the past 110 years, Ms. Bell has witnessed many great adventures and wonders in the world, which range from the United States transitioning itself from an agrarian society to the computer age. And whereas Ms. Bell was known for taking care of her yard, flowers, and truly enjoying nature. And whereas during this period, she has seen such events as a world war, men going to the moon, to the electrification of our county, and the advent of the computer. And now therefore be it resolved that the Mecklenburg County Board of Supervisors does hereby wish to honor Ms. Estelle Bell for her 110 years of life and the fact that she is a member of our nation's greatest generation. H. Wayne Carter, Clerk. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Lundy. I think we need to give Ms. Bell a round of applause. Thank you, Ms. Lundy. Mr. Hargrove, I think you're next.
Yes, sir.
You're going down front.
Yes, sir. I'm gonna ask that Mr. Taylor will come forward. First of all, at a meeting of the Board of Supervisors held in and for the County of Mecklenburg on February 12th today, 2024, in the Board of Supervisors meeting room of the new building. The Board of, by unanimous vote, adopted the following resolution. Whereas the Mecklenburg County Board of Supervisors does hereby wish to honor Mr. Ed Taylor for his lifetime service to the citizens of Mecklenburg County, and whereas as a lifelong resident of Mecklenburg County, he attended Longwood College and came back to help operate his family business. And whereas upon returning home, he then became a member of South Hill Lions Club, where he has served for 47 years, as well as a Gideon of the South Central District County. And whereas he elected Commissioner of Revenue and began serving the citizens of Mecklenburg County in 2007 and served as such for 16 years, in which time he continually worked to modernize his department to keep pace with an ever-changing real estate and personal property markets. And whereas he continued to perform reassessments every 2 years to decrease the shock for ever-increasing real estate values. I want to repeat that again. He decreased the shock in real estate values for personal properties and market. Whereas he therefore kept the county tax value stable. Finally, most important thing in his life is the love for his wife, 2 children, 2 grandchildren, whom he truly enjoys spending time with. And here's the most exciting part. Now, therefore, it be resolved that the Mecklenburg County Board of Supervisors does hereby wish Mr. Ed Taylor the best as he begins a new adventure in his retirement from public service.
He got me too, like he usually gets me. It's been a pleasure, it really has. I've been very fortunate to serve this county. Mecklenburg is a special place, it really is. And I was fortunate to have some very talented and dedicated staff, but also this board of supervisors behind me here. We got a good board and had a good board for a number of years. And it's been a pleasure working with them. I just want you all to know that, how much I've enjoyed it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And this fellow here too.
Ms. Langford, would you like to come up? I don't think I can be quite as robust as Mr. Longo. So anyway, a meeting of the Board of Supervisors held in and for the County of Mecklenburg on February 12, 2024, in the Board of Supervisors meeting room of the Good Bank Building, the board by unanimous vote adopted the following resolution. Whereas the Mecklenburg County Board of Supervisors does hereby wish to honor Ms. Sandra Price Langford for career service to Mecklenburg County and its citizens. And whereas Ms. Langford is a lifelong resident of Mecklenburg County, and upon returning from James Madison University, she began working for the Mecklenburg County Department of Social Services, for which she worked for 7 years, which followed by working for 20 years at Piedmont Court Services, where she started as a probation officer before becoming director for a number of years. And whereas she then was elected as treasurer in 2007 and served as such for 16 years, during which she served as the secretary of the Virginia State Treasurers Association for many years and was selected as treasurer of the year for 2019 by her peers. And whereas she has been a lifelong member of the New Hope Baptist Church, serves on the Chase City Medical Board, been a member of the Chase City Women's Club, and a member of VFW Auxiliary Post 8163, where she volunteers to help with fundraising. Now therefore be it resolved that the Mecklenburg County Board of Supervisors does hereby wish to honor Ms. Sandra Langford for her 43 years of service to Mecklenburg County, and hope that she can truly enjoy her retirement by spending time with her family, and most importantly, with her 2 granddaughters, who she truly adores. Thank you, sir. Sandra was my first appointment on the planning commission.
There you talk.
Let me just say, before I sit down, this is my last hurrah. I have truly been blessed to live in this county and to work in this county for the last 43 years. The people in this county, county administration, our board, I've been blessed to have such wonderful people to work with. And through my career here, over 3 different departments, I have also had extraordinary staff members who are very dedicated to this county. And I just want to say that I thank all of you for your support all of these years. Wayne, your support has been invaluable, and Judy. And Russell, you're wonderful. And I just want to say that I am truly blessed and I am very honored to have been able to serve this county for the last 20 years.
All right, moving on. We got our Parkview School RFP presentations, and the first one is Edwin Gaskin. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
My name's Edwin Gaskin, and I'm grateful for your time this morning. As a lifelong introvert, these kinds of presentations make me very nervous. But we do have some slides prepared, but I really kind of hate death by PowerPoint. So as there are questions or comments, I'd like it to be more of a dialogue than a monologue. If we could just, not sure if I get a clicker.
Yeah, I'll give you.
Oh, okay. So as this is getting rolling, my wife and I started our firm 22 years ago this month, actually. And you might be surprised at how deliberately small we've kept our team. We've kept it a family business as we've done redevelopments all throughout Virginia and parts of North Carolina. As you see on the title slide, this is regarding the Parkview site. The graphic shows the Parkview Boosters proposal, and I think they're represented here. We are not a joint team. This is not a joint proposal, but we have worked collaboratively in terms of determining how we would work together if we were selected and approved. It's been a wonderful and productive dialogue, but I just want to be clear that we're not a joint team. What we do, my team, again, family business, we redevelop historic sites. We've been doing it for a couple of decades. We use historic tax credits, and probably the most important thing on this slide is that we're owner developers, meaning that we keep our assets long-term and operate them. Said another way, we eat our own cooking. So we're motivated to make sure we choose high-quality materials. We select high-quality tenants because we own these assets long-term. It's what feeds my family. Why do we do it? I enjoy what we do. There's a lot of meaning in taking these sites that have had such profound influence on this community, like this old high school, through which I'm sure many people in this room have passed through its halls, and give it new relevance moving forward. It's sad when these buildings pitch into decline, become obsolete, and frankly, I enjoy giving them new relevance to future generations, albeit a different use. We've also found that when we do these developments, we're reversing blight. And when we make the primary investment, there's all sorts of secondary and even tertiary investments that happen by others. Won't bore you with this slide. Just for those who aren't familiar with the real estate development process, the first step is generally this, getting site control. So then the site can go through zoning, design, financing, and then what everybody sees is construction, of course. That's the big expenditure and the most visible process, but then, of course, leasing and operations. That's a lot of words, but the summary is that we develop all parts of the process from cradle to grave. We recruit the capital, we design with our architects and engineers. Oftentimes we self-perform construction. I am a Class A GC in Virginia. We don't always do that, but we do it in usually markets where we can't find a contractor base to work with. And then we also self-perform. Our two assets to the west in Halifax County, we self-perform the property management. I have a wonderful property management team, very successful there. For those of you who aren't familiar with the historic tax credit, both the federal government and Virginia offer these tax credits to motivate the saving of these buildings. It would be far easier to tear them down. It would be far easier to redevelop a farmer's field into housing. Thus, the government gives incentives at the federal and state level to keep them. And honestly, this is about 30% of the capital required to do these projects. Frankly, most of these buildings wouldn't be financially viable without these tax credits. Now, in picking up those golden handcuffs, as we call them, that makes the state and the federal government your design partners. And they're not always great partners to have. But it's the hoops you have to jump through in order to get these credits. This is where we are. The purple stars is where we've completed projects over the last 2+ decades, and red are the sites that we are in pursuit of currently. So we've developed a model to be all over the state, oftentimes in very rural markets. We're proud of that, and we've done a lot of good in those places. Just to the west of us in Halifax is the old Halifax Elementary School on Mountain Road. Lovely project. I forget which number historic school this was that we did. If we were selected to do Parkview, this would be our 9th historic school. You'd be hard pressed to find any other developer insane enough to take on that many historic schools. They're inefficient buildings, but when they come around, they turn into really beautiful living spaces. We're able to preserve a lot of the millwork, hardwood floors, windows. The chalkboards, as you see, actually are counterintuitively pretty popular. Also in the town of South Boston, this was a joint project with the town. This was an old, the Toltec site, very large building in a very small place. This really was charted out with town manager Tom Robb there, and we had planned out a 3-phase project over 15 years. Well, the project was so popular and the market demand was so strong, we did all 3 phases in 5 years. It was a great project. I'm headed there after this meeting. We have a wonderful team there, and both that and Halifax lofts are actually part of, oftentimes, the economic development prospect tours that the county gives, because nowadays employers want to know where their people are going to be living, right? Where their engineers, executives, folks coming through a year or two, very important to the project. This is what it looked like pre-construction. It rained more on the inside than on the outside, it seemed. The building was failing. This is what it looked like afterwards. Very proud of this project. Very hard to rebuild, but it turned out really great. I'm just going to roll through some of these others. This is a small school in Woodstock, Virginia. This is an old power plant in Culpeper. This was actually built and operated by the town for many decades, I think close to 90 years, a contaminated site. We actually had to work with Virginia DEQ and the EPA to remediate the site and then put it back into redevelopment. This was a fun project to work on with the town. This is an urban site, an old peanut factory in Suffolk, Virginia, very rough area, very tough environment. But we were leased within the first week of opening, even though we had a gun battle on the street in front of our development the night before. We opened with 11 bullet holes in our club room. It's exciting. Wilson, North Carolina, the city actually recruited me there because they really wanted to build this whirligig park. I don't know if you've ever been to Wilson. Wonderful placemaking park that they did. We were instrumental in doing the large warehouse across the street into 95 apartments. Turned out really well. At the time, nobody would lend in Wilson. It was crickets for years there. Now they're having a wonderful chapter. We were a small part of that. We're proud of it. This is the old Richmond Memorial Hospital on the north side. Very early in my career, a wonderful project, about 250,000 square feet. The only bad thing is that we opened the same month in 2008 that Lehman Brothers went bust, right before the Great Recession. So that was a humbling experience, but I was proud that we did it on time and on budget, and very, very nice project. A small hotel in Martinsville, lovely project. The commercial tenant in the corner, we actually kept there during construction. Worked well, had to apologize a few times, but the point is we worked well with the commercial tenants. We have under contract our 8th historic school development in Pulaski, about 102 apartments. We've also been selected by the state to redevelop 14 buildings at Fort Monroe. So again, we're a small team, but we've got great things in the pipeline. What are we planning to do here at Parkview? About 90 apartments, hard to say without a full design, but probably between a $16 and $20 million investment. These are market rate upscale apartments. We really cater towards working professionals. We do a lot of studio and 1-bedrooms, usually pet friendly. There's a long list of things we have to do to get ready for construction. It has to be subdivided, has to be rezoned. We'd have to put this thing on the National Register of Historic Places. Given its prominence in Mecklenburg's history, I'm sure that can be done. We'll have to pursue together state grants for the environmental abatement, and probably the biggest bogey is that the sewer is about 6,000 linear feet away. So that's probably the biggest hurdle to overcome here. Should we go forward, this would be our 9th historic school project. What are our objectives? We want to transform it. We want to do that with collaboration with the county, collaboration with the state and the federal government with design. We plan to own and manage it long term. We did some initial blocking plans with the main building and the other buildings, the other 3 other buildings. We see a diversity in unit sizes here, a lot of studio and 1-bedrooms, some 2-bedrooms. There are some large units that just happen because you're working with historic walls, but you also have some small ones, and they usually work out well when you're dealing with more of an affordable price point. A lot of teachers leased from us, a lot of first responders. and we love that. Why do we think it makes sense? Well, right now it's one form or another burning a hole in your pocket, and it is deteriorating, like we all are, over time. This would stop that and reverse it. It would put it back on the tax rolls. We think it makes sense. Again, rather than ripping up a farmer's field, we're making use of existing infrastructure. There is a need for professional grade housing in the area, and we think it adds to your success story. I'd love to answer any questions, and I'll probably just rotate back to this slide.
Anyone have any questions?
Please don't be shy. I'm happy to field any questions.
It's like we're pretty shy
What is
this
your
morning.
projected timeframe?
Great question. So everybody wants to see when hammers are swinging, right? The construction, the most visible. If we were have a purchase contract in place today, it would be at least 18 months. And the reason for that is that I have so many governmental hoops to jump through. Not only at the county level, zoning and all that, those are probably the most navigable, but also the state and federal design requirements. So at least 18 months. That's all conditional on this idea of the sewer. We've been talking with county staff and town staff. We see that sewer extension as an inevitability, not just for our site, but frankly, you all want to enable water and sewer to other economic development acreage along 58. I mean, that's your main street, so to speak, long-term for economic development and employers. We believe that sewer is not for us, but really for that long-term vision.
So
In terms of building, I'm sorry. That'll take about a year. Project this size, about a year. So best case scenario, we open 2.5 years from today. But again, that gets pushed out however long it takes to get a purchase contract and a timeline for the sewer figured out.
So in your building, have you included any unexpectancies like the rapid change of Mecklenburg County, or the things that government requires now that it didn't require back then, or what? You know,
I had a full head of hair when I started this business model. All the hair falls out when you deal with unexpected changes. Have I accounted for all of them? Surely not. I try to make new mistakes with every project and not repeat old ones. But we swim in these waters where we're dealing with existing buildings, a lot of environmental regulations, a lot of stormwater regulations. All those regulatory environments are changing every day. We just keep holding on to the optimistic premise that more investment is better than less investment, and we keep going.
Anyone else?
It's a great presentation.
Yep. Good presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Jason Dawson?
Good.
Doing well, thank you.
Always wonderful going second behind a great presentation. So we'll try to muddle through this. Good morning. My name is Jason Dawson. I'm here on behalf of the Parkview Booster Club. I want to thank you all for the time this morning. So one of the booster members, Travis, is going to help me go through the slides. We're going to try to stay coordinated. We'll see how that works. Parkview Booster Club has been around since about 1958. It has a legacy of supporting sports in the county, mainly on the Parkview side. We were fortunate enough about a year ago to have conversations to take over ownership of the Parkview Boosters and move it forward after Parkview closed down. Our proposal is to continue the legacy of supporting the youth in the county with a new facility at the Parkview High School site. Current board members are here. Everybody can see them listed above. I think every one of them is here today, and they may have something to say or speak if they would like after me. So current use of the facilities, we have been fortunate over the last about 2 years to be able to use the facilities for various sports activities that we do. Parkview Booster Club currently oversees, is an umbrella over top of numerous sports, whether that be the South Hill Yellow Jackets football team, the South Hill Booster Basketball League that started back up 2 years ago, Infinity Baseball, the Southside Crushers Softball, the South Hill Yellow Jackets Basketball Cheerleading, as well as volleyball teams that use the facilities now. Currently, in the last 2 years, we're serving about 500 kids. That's about 130 in basketball, 90 in football, 40 between baseball and softball, which are both travel teams, 200 in cheerleading, whether that be for the football or for the basketball season, and about 25 in volleyball. Currently, those ages range from about 5 to 14. Our goal as we grow, whether with this facility or just in the future in general, is to expand those ages to 18 for basketball and for football to age 16. Right now, South Hill Yellow Jackets does not have a varsity football team, but our plan is we're working in conjunction with the Mecklenburg County Middle School Athletics to try to bring that varsity team on so we can be more of a farm team and a funnel for the middle school team, since there's so many kids on the team currently where they could gain some additional playing experience and playing time and then funnel into the middle school program. The facilities we're currently using are the football field, the baseball, softball field, and the gym. So right here, just kind of goes through what we just talked about. The Booster League basketball lay dormant for several years. Last year, we started that off, and I think in our first year, with no sponsorship, very limited time frame, ramping up into the season, I think we had about 140 kids participate. The participation level is on par with that or higher again this year. We were able to, this year, have uniforms across the entire league, sponsorship throughout the county and the town. So very proud of that. The South Hill Yellow Jackets football team has been around forever. I think everybody's either dad, granddad, great-granddad, somebody's played in it. But that has been a very successful program that I've been fortunate enough to be a part of with Jerome Farrer. He's been doing it for about 13, 14 years. I've been lucky enough to be a part for the last 6 or 7. Very good program, multiple Super Bowl champions for their league. Had a positive impact on a lot of kids, like all sports tend to. We also have the South Hill Yellow Jackets cheer team. I'll be honest, I had no idea how many girls cheered until we did this, and we have more than graduated in my graduating class in high school. They're everywhere. But it has been a lot of fun. As you can see, you know, they take a lot of pride in what they do. Between fundraisers, uniform purchases for not only for football but for basketball, it's been very nice to see how inclusive we can be across every corner, every barrier we can, boys and girls, you know, every shape, size. It's been very neat to be a part of that. Then we get into the baseball and the softball. Right now we have 2 travel teams who use the current field. It's the old girl softball field. Infinity Baseball, the team, was the first ones to come in there and start using it. When we started using all the facilities there, they were pretty run down. They hadn't been used for a while. The softball field, for example, we have some pictures here shortly. It looked like, you know, I mean, it was old stick field. And they came in, asked if they could use it, said, not a problem. You know, our whole tenet has been, we'll take care of it like we own it. And they even had kids out there dragging the field. And now it looks like, you know, looks better than some of the fields that you see in other localities that middle schools and high schools play on. So Infinity Baseball uses that. The girls softball uses that as well. It's been a good overflow. Even though Parker Park is a wonderful facility in South Hill, it's not really able to be used on a regular basis when during the season. It's so busy you can't use it. Outside of the season, the town really retains ownership of that and not able to use that on a come and go basis as you would like or need. Our goal here with this development is to create something for the community that the community can use, that the Parkview Boosters would oversee, but it would be open for everyone to use really whenever they'd like. There would be some facilities that would be recreational only, like the football field, but this would be an opportunity where kids want to come play ball, they got somewhere to come play at. Thanks for that, Travis. Right now, I'd like to detail some of the key progress we've had at the facility. We've really have taken if you let us use it, you know, we'll take care of it like our own stance. And over the last 2 years, we're proud of some of the improvements we've been able to make. As you can see in the photos, the top left is the softball field currently as it stands. Right now, it's non-lit. It does have dugouts. It has water. We have future plans as soon as possible to install lights there so they can have a greater time frame to be able to play, whether it be in the spring or in the fall, and also expand the field to accommodate more teams. It moved the fences and would allow to have multiple ages use the same field. But before we were there, it didn't look anything like that. It's a wonderful facility right now. I'm proud of them to use it. The football field is over on the right. When we first took that over and started using it 2 years ago, I'll be honest, it looked like nobody played there in 5 years. We had a lot of volunteer work, a lot of families, a lot of coaches and parents that came in and helped, cleaned up the facility, cut down a bunch of trees and growth that were on the fences, redid the scoreboard, redid the parking lot, as you can see, new gravel throughout, installed some lighting outside for nighttime, new signage for the field houses. We actually have a visitor locker room for the other teams that come to visit and play us. We're one of the only locations in Southside Virginia, or even past that, that has its own facility. We have had numerous comments from visiting teams, whether it be Lunenburg, Nottoway, Amelia, anybody who've come to see us, that we have our own place to play. They have to ask permission or have to play at the behest of school or whatever when they play. And we had some teams this year that had to cancel because they couldn't play because of whatever disagreement they had. Bottom left-hand corner is some photos of just the weight room, billboard we have inside, and probably one of the bigger things, LED parking lot lighting that we did for the high school parking lot. Really big. I think, if you have a well-lit area that's safe, that's what you need for kids in the community. That has been a massive improvement, especially during basketball season. It's always nighttime when we're over there practicing. You got folks, grandma, granddad, small kids. We're really big on safety and making sure that the kids have a good place to be. So some of the other things we did, remodel the field house, the locker room remodel, you'll see some photos of that. Weight room, we'll show you some more photos of that. And we actually remodeled the boys and girls locker rooms in the gym and installed collapsible batting cages so it can be used as a flex space. You can have inside baseball and softball practice, then you can collapse it down and the 200 girls can go in there and cheerlead at the same time. So, next, Travis. This is the weight room before and after. Been very fortunate, like I said, to have the support of the board and the county. I actually spoke with some county staff and Alex about the weight room here. You can see on the left and the right, this was before we went in there and addressed some of the issues. Multiple leaks. The school has been there for a long time. The school has been there longer than the gym. Gym was built in 1980. This locker room actually was built the year I graduated. We think that the weight room is a very good location that we can, also increase the activity for the youth. So we went in, a little bit of paint, some lights, some new drop tiles, a little elbow grease. I think it turned out really well. Our goal with this is to have youth weight training. There's not a lot of the younger kids, can't afford to go to a gym or don't have access to one. We actually have talked with members of the community that currently operate gyms in Southfield that have dedicated their time and are willing to come in and offer classes for the kids for free to help us with, teaching the kids the right way to do it. Thanks, Travis. This is the field house before and after for the football field. I think we took this project on and completed this before the beginning of this season. You can just see kind of, the condition that it was in. And, it was what it was. We played here. I played here. I was in this locker room. The way it looked didn't affect the way we played at all. But with the opportunity to go in and do, use it for our own, we want to make sure we stood behind our word and took care of it. So we went in, we rehabilitated the walls, painted everything, took down the lights, put in new LED vapor tight lights, painted the locker room to the Yellow Jackets color scheme, and I think it's very proud of it. Next, Trev. This is the baseball field. Told you, one of the kids was out there working. So that's actually one of the board members' son dragging the field. It was in rough shape, but they have been good stewards of the field and very proud to have them as partners in this because, you look at it, it looks better than I think it did when we played some days. Next, Travis. So What we're asking for is we want to develop the entire part of the parcel that is not the apartment complex. That is about, I think, 36 acres. That includes the gym, all the football fields, the parking lots, and the additional space that runs all the way back to the backing road. Our anticipated budget for that would be $6 million. That includes about a 20% buffer, overrun for added expenses or things that we're not thinking about or we may run into. Out of that, we have about $2 million already earmarked and funded 100%. It's $200,000 a year for 10 years. We believe this will be a 10-year project. It's not something if the board decided to give it to us today that it would happen tomorrow. It will not. But we do have a phase plan in phase 1, 2, and 3 to get there. Right now, we think that it would be about a $200,000 a year ongoing cost to have it fully staffed. That would be something that would have to happen with a facility like this. That would not be automatically needed as well. We believe somewhere between year 5 to 8, we would transition from a volunteer and vendor setup to a staff setup. We would also look at from day one, a website to handle all the operation of the facility. We would like to have complete transparency with the public. I know that some of the staff members here have dealt with the booking of the gym. It can be very chaotic. There's a lot of people that want to use the space. There's only so much space to use. Our intention would be to have an online presence. Anybody in the county could go to, could sign up, could interact with the Booster Club, and we would have a calendar that would be posted so everybody would know when it's used, how, what, when, and why. Our fundraising efforts in phase 1, it's hard to go ask somebody to, or ask people to donate money for something that you don't own. It would be the same like me trying to run a house that's not mine. It just doesn't really work out that way. We do have those underwritten pledges for the $2 million. We have a plan in place that as soon as if the board decided to allow us to use the facility to start our fundraising through corporate sponsorships, dinners, personal visits, online efforts, and on-site visits. Right now, we have a pretty substantial revenue stream through concessions, our vendor partnerships, advertising, and fundraising. Both the Southfield Booster League and the Southfield Yellow Jackets are fully self-sufficient between concessions, sponsorships, and the minimal amounts that we charge for the kids to actually play each year, which I think is a wonderful thing. Years ago they weren't, but when you have teams that are fully self-sufficient, that allows all the revenue to go into the facility. We are not looking to. We had our first community hearing 2 weeks ago, and we're not looking to displace any existing teams. We're looking to be a facility, to be a partner with any other group in the county, whether it be east or west, to use the facility for sports. That's what we're looking to do. Okay. So the 3 phases. Phase 1, we'd be looking to use the over 200 and right now it's $214,000 cash on hand to start upgrading existing facilities. This upcoming year, what we'd like to do is tear down the existing concession stand that's by the football field, expand that. The LED parking lot lighting was one of the things that we were looking to do for the high school gym. We've already taken care of that. Really what we would get started on between fencing and some other cosmetic items would be the site development and civil planning. Looking at working with B&B consultants, we've already had some conversations. We're probably looking at about an 18-month ramp up for the E&S and the permitting. Our goal would be to perform the permitting and the site design for the entire facility so we could lock in the code for the existing conditions today and not have to worry about what it may be 7 years from now if we look to go do phase 3. That would be an additional cost up front, additional time, but we think that would be smart instead of breaking it up and doing it at different times. Phase 2 would be flex field with bleachers and concessions, and that would allow us to start hosting regional tournaments. One of our other fundraising methods would be have regional athletic tournaments here. Everybody knows Parker Park generates a ton of funds for the town, for the county. That's great. We would look to do that across other sports, whether it be soccer, football, AAU football. There are a lot of other opportunities that are there. We just need additional facilities to take advantage of them. Phase 3 would be outdoor basketball courts, multiple community pavilions, soccer fields, additional restrooms, concession stands, and a walking trail that's about 1 mile that would encompass the entire area. This right here is actually just a plan design. We are by no means locked in on exactly the way this is. You know, it needs to have this many of this and this many of that. We really want to have the right amount for the county, for the community, and for the citizens for what they need. Okay. So in conclusion, we put out our plan on Facebook, had a lot of interesting comments, positive comments. I know that the comp survey for you guys also saw the same thing. The county is asking for this in some shape, form, or fashion, whether it be inside recreational space, outside recreational space, more fields for the children, more things for the kids. And we think this is an awesome opportunity to give the county and the community something that they need and want. Without this facility, we would be at risk of losing the Southfield Yellow Jackets football, the basketball, cheerleading to some extent. But there's nowhere else for those teams to play. You know, that's a whole lot of kids that wouldn't be able to take advantage of the sports activities that we offer now. And I think that what we need now is a lot more of that, not a lot less. The youth athletics facility will positively impact the local community. Every one of our board members, including myself, we've played sports all our lives. I think everybody that's probably in here has played sports in some shape, form, or fashion. The friendships, the bonds, the things you learn. You know, there's a lot of kids that coach is the most positive impact that they have. You know, those are the types of things that I believe the county will get an ROI on that's not a dollar sign. And like I said, the recent county survey, you know, Chad Barber said this is fantastic. But just, you know, I think that there's a lot of people that are interested in it and think it would be great. Be happy to answer any questions anybody may have.
Anyone?
Well, you know, just thinking here, you know, we moved into our new high school, almost 2 years ago. We walked away from these buildings and stuff, and I just want to publicly commend Jason and his group, and I see some of the other coaches for the other programs and stuff there that, you know, they spent a lot of time, and a lot of effort, money, and stuff of their own keeping these programs going over the last 2 years. There hadn't been a lot of kids out of playing ball and stuff right now, but I just want to commend y'all on the amount of work and time and effort y'all have put into it to keep these programs rolling during this kind of what we call a downtime. And, you know, it's like, say, you hate to put money in something you don't own, and y'all put a lot of that in this already. I know I really appreciate it, and I think most of the citizens of this county. And I know firsthand that a lot of these kids are, you know, are coming from the other end of the county and all too playing sports stuff. It's not closed off to the west end or the east end. It's for Mecklenburg County, and I just thank y'all for that.
I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Speaking about that, you know, this year for football, I think we pretty much absorbed the Mecklenburg Knights, which is the football team from the other end of the Clarksville end. And, you know, their coach told them, hey, look, we're just going to go down there and be a part of their team. I think that's probably one of the things that we want to overcome the most, is that this would be a facility. It just happens to be where it happens to be, but it would be a facility for the entire county. Our goal is to also build those relationships with the Mecklenburg County school system that's, you know, located where it's located, and bring all of these kids in. You know, when you have 2 schools go down to 1, you only have half as many spots and slots for these kids to play. If we have these other things outside, they can come play in these systems. They're not sitting on the bench, or they're not making a team. They're able to play and then funnel back into the system. So we think that's very important to have too.
Very good. Anyone else?
Mr. Chairman, I would say I don't think there could be a better use for this facility. I mean, and thank y'all for everything you do for the kids, because
Sure.
that's what we need.
Couldn't do it without you guys. I appreciate y'all.
Okay.
Thank you for
All
your
right.
time.
Thank you, Jason.
Thank you.
Okay, we not having the presentation on the Southside Behavioral Health, and now Robin Jones will give us an audit report for the county. morning.
Here. So I'm gonna briefly go over this how many page audit, 144 page audit. County, did well this year. So, first thing I want to do, since there might be some new people here, is I want to go over the table of contents. It's at the front of the audit. This basic governmental audit is combined into these different sections. You have the financial section, which is the body, the main focus of the audit. It's our independent auditor's report that we sign off on. It's management's discussion and analysis, and then your basic financial statements. It also includes required supplementary information that's required by governmental auditing standards and accounting standards. And then there's some other supplementary information. And then the last section is the compliance section that's required by the federal government if you get over $750,000 in federal money, which the county definitely does. So that's how the audit is designed. That's how your financial statement is designed. And so I will, first thing I want to do is go to the last page of the audit, which is called your schedule of findings and question cost. And the county received an unmodified opinion, which means it's a clean opinion, no problems. No material weaknesses, no significant deficiencies, no non-compliance for the regular financial statements. In the federal awards section, again, no findings there. The major programs that we audited for the federal government are listed there. It's I guess y'all call them ESSER funds here, but I think that's how the school calls them, but that's basically coronavirus relief money. Special ed was another program selected, the SNAP cluster in the social services area, and then the coronavirus funds. They were all made up the federal funds that were audited. You're considered a low-risk auditee, meaning that the county has received a clean opinion at least over the last 3 years, which is great. And then there were no other findings that we reported. So that's kind of the recap. You got an A+. County got an A+ on its financial statements. So the first schedule I would like to just briefly go over is your page 11. It's Exhibit 3 is your balance sheet. The total assets for the county, all the governmental funds, $104 million. Of that amount, $97 million is cash, and the rest are liabilities of close to $8 million. So you have a fund balance at the end of June of 2023 of $95 million for the governmental funds. The general fund, of the different types of governmental funds, the general fund has $18 million in fund balance at the end of the year, which is a good position to be in. Going to page 13, your statement of revenues and expenditures. Basically, your income statement. The total revenues for all funds was $175 million. Expenses $159. So you had a net change in fund balance of $15 million for the year. The governmental fund did so many transfers, it actually had a deficit of $192,000 for this year, but some of the other funds had some pluses in there to make up for that. So that is basically the main statements for the county. Some other things you might want to look at are your schedule of capital assets on page 35. That's all the capital assets, land, buildings, and the accumulated depreciation on that type of asset. The net fixed assets for the whole county is $184 million. Then the debt schedule is another area you might want to look at, and that's on page 39. The debt for the county right now is, $144 million in debt. A lot of that is, school-related for the new schools coming up, and still paying for the South Hill Elementary School. And that is those. Your budget to actual schedule is in the back. Starts at page 9. That gives you a recap of your budget, original budget, final budget, and your actual dollars spent for your main funds. And then you have some schedules for the school and for the IDA in the back as well. And then we give 2 other opinions, page 134 and 136, that are required by governmental auditing standards and the uniform guidance for federal government. They are clean opinions as well. That's kind of the format of the financial statements and the audit. But it was a good, clean audit. Thank all the personnel and everybody here for providing information and being cooperative and getting us everything we need to get it done. The reports have all been filed with the Auditor of Public Accounts in Richmond. That report's been filed, and we have filed the Federal Audit Clearinghouse data collection form to the federal government. So all that's been filed.
All right, very good.
All right.
Wayne, have we not got this? Are y'all gonna send it to us?
We got it last week.
You got it last week, we'll send it out today.
Okay, yeah, because I saw everybody kind of
Yeah.
scrolling around in their computer, you know, and I'm like, what did I miss yesterday?
Yeah, okay. I'll send it out today.
That's fine. I wrote down all the important stuff.
Yeah.
Feel free to call.
The rest of it doesn't matter.
Main thing you need to know is you're in good, sound financial condition and clean opinion.
Absolutely. Thank you, Robin.
All right, thank y'all.
Wayne, you or Alex have anything to add to that at all? Okay.
Treasurer's office, and Judy and all the other departments for doing all the work that they do for it, because it's a tremendous amount of
Absolutely.
information that is given to the auditors and has to be collected for them. So we'll thank everybody for that.
Absolutely. Thank y'all. VDOT, Kevin, you're on deck, man.
It's been a long time.
Good morning.
Good
Y'all
morning.
should have got our monthly report in y'all's board package. A couple of things we want to highlight. Our crew's been busy this month. Ditching, installing culvert pipe, cutting dead trees, brush cutting, joint work, and patching potholes. Give you a road closure notice here on March 4th. Route 660 Old Cox will be closed between Route 760 Phillips Lane and 662 Whiteman Road for bridge rehab over the Buckhorn Creek. Work is estimated at 5 weeks. Detour will be posted, and we'll get official press release out to the county soon, shortly. We will be getting with the secondary road committee here sometime here in the next month. As soon as I get some figures on some, for our projects in the upcoming year, and to add projects to the 2030 plan. And we are continuing to watch for winter weather, and we're ready to respond if needed. That's all I've got.
All right. If we don't get any of that winter weather, maybe you can pave a few extra dirt roads in the county. Mr. Gravitt lead the way on that one.
Oh, yeah, oh, yeah. I got a few things.
Yes, sir.
I see right here you were talking about shoulder repair. I've been approached by a few people. Got one, an issue, a little hot spot, I guess you could say, right there on Shining Rock Road between Beaver Pond Wildlife Management Area and Hilltop Road. It's no shoulder. Farm equipment and bigger vehicles coming through could pose a problem. Another thing I've been approached about is I want to try to talk about and bring some awareness to on 58 Primary, some of the approaches on these bridges between pretty much the biggest ones I think are an issue are between the Ridge and Big Fork. If you're behind if you're on a brand new Cadillac, you might not feel it as bad, but especially bigger trucks, first responders and things like that, you get some behind some of these vehicles and you'll almost see them catapult as they transition from the approach to the bridge back to the road. I watched them fix, we have another issue right there on the 58 and 15 bridge. They fixed the westbound side, but they didn't fix the eastbound side. And when I watched them, I guess they just milled it down and just beefed it back up the approach. It didn't take that long, maybe a day. So I think, I don't know, but hopefully it won't be too big of an issue.
All right. Bridge approaches, yes, sir. We know we've got some rough ones. The one that we did fix this fall that was right there at the end of our paving season. We did get a little bridge money to go in there and fix that one. We have got the other ones prioritized. We're hoping when the asphalt plants open back up, we can get back on them and start knocking these things out.
Okay.
We'll probably be doing the same kind of repair that you saw on that bridge, where they go in there and they mill it and do it. And you're correct, it took about a day to fix that bridge. So we are going to be looking at that, and I'll get out to Shiny Rock and look at the shoulders and see what we can do out there.
All right, one more thing. I think when we're out and about riding around sometimes, I tend to notice, I guess on VDOT right away, and especially with the high winds coming up in the spring, we've got probably some problem trees, I think, that we probably need to keep our eyes out on. Some of them are leaning, they're probably at a 45-degree lean. Some of the root balls are starting to come up. And it's going to be a bigger issue, especially if you notice if you have a landowner, if they clear cut timber. They've been leaning up against their buddies all their life, and all of a sudden now they cut them. And you get some of them straight line winds, and it's not going to take much for them to get put in the road. And I think if we're a little bit more proactive instead of reactive on that, I know I've worked at least one fatality because of it. One prime example, I think, is right there on 58 in Sandy Fork area between Tim Ward and Janet Jones. Between those two residences, it's on the eastbound side. And those loggers get up to those line trees and they stop cutting. But, for competition and stuff like that, they naturally going to grow out towards the road. But some of those straight line winds, it's not going to take them much to put them in the road. So.
Yes, sir. We've got a tree contract, and we use them right often to go and remove dead trees and problem trees and stuff. And like I said, if you see something, please give us a call, and we'll go out there and take a look at it. And it's a lot more than us going out and cutting a tree, especially if it's on private property. We got to get permission from the landowner and stuff like that. So
right.
Our crews just cannot just ride around and see something and whack it down just because we think it's dangerous. We've got to check with property owners and stuff too.
Right. Fair enough. I'll be in touch.
Yes, sir. Be in touch with me. We'll be happy to look at anything and address them as needed.
Thank you.
All right.
I just had.
Yes, sir.
Just to hit on his, the bridge is on 58. You say you have a list.
Mm-hmm.
I would hope the one on 58 between Baskerville Road and the new high school. That's
Yes,
one of
sir.
the worst ones
Yes, sir.
I've ever seen. I hope that one's on there.
That one's on the list. Yes, sir.
Okay. I just want to make sure we, do something about that. And then Dry Creek Road, when were you planning? I know it's in this year's budget.
Yes, sir.
What kind of time frame is that?
It would probably be at least late April, early May before construction will ever start on that road. Generally, our rural rustic projects, we kind of work them around our maintenance stuff. So usually they're in the late spring, early summer when we get to starting on them. But they will be finished by the fall.
Okay.
They haven't completed.
So 3-4 month deal or something like that?
Yes, sir.
Weather dependent?
Weather depends a whole lot on these rural rustic projects. Yes, sir.
Okay, that's all I have.
All right, thank you, sir.
Anyone else?
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
See you next month.
Let's call to public comment. You got anybody?
We had 4 sign up. I think they've all left. They were for the Parkview Band Boosters, but I will go through them with Shepard, Edward Reese, Travis Boyd, or Ryan Callahan. They're not here, so we've moved on to this.
Okay. All right, very good. Mr. Spence, I believe you have a landfill committee report?
Yes, sir. Landfill Committee met on Monday, February 12th, 2024 at 8:30 a.m. in the Board of Supervisors meeting room. Members present were Dennis Spence, Claudia Lundy, David Brinkley, Kurt Gravitt. Also present was Jim Jennings, Andy Hargrove, Tom Tanner, Sterling Wilkerson, Brenda Blackwell, Wayne Carter, County Administrator, Judy Sheffield, Assistant County Administrator, Alex Gottschalk, Deputy County Administrator. Excuse me. Dennis Spence called the meeting to order. Mr. Gottschalk presented a quote for a 2025 Peterbilt on a 520 chassis with an easy pack front loader using the source wheel pricing contract. This is a similar unit to what the county has purchased for a number of years. The quote cost is $355,137. Upon a motion of Mrs. Lundy, the committee voted unanimously to recommend purchase of the 2025 Peterbilt on the 520 chassis with the Easy Pack front loader for the cost of $355,137. And, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to go ahead and put that in the form of a motion,
Okay.
if it's appropriate to do it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Y'all have heard the motion. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor say aye. Aye. And the motion carries.
All right, thank you. Upon a motion of Mr. Brinkley, the committee voted unanimously to recommend to the Budget and Finance Committee to put the proceeds from the insurance settlement into the Equipment Replacement Fund. I'd also like to bring this as a motion.
Everyone's heard the motion. Any more discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. The motion carries.
There being no further business, the meeting was adjourned at that time.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Spence. And Personnel Committee, Ms. Blackwell, I think you're next. Oh, wait a minute, I'm sorry. Where did I look at it? Yep, you're right, next.
Fine.
I got 'em misordered right here.
You're good. The Economic Development Committee met on Monday, February 12th, 2024 at 8:15 in the Board of Supervisors meeting room in Boynton, Virginia. Members present, Tom Tanner, Chairman, David Brinkley, Sterling Wilkerson, Dennis Smith. Others present, Jim Jennings, Andy Hargrove, Claudia Lundy, Brenda Blackwell, Kurt Gravitt, Wayne Carter, County Administrator, Alex Gottschalk, Deputy County Administrator, Judy Sheffield, Assistant County Administrator, and Angie Kettle, Economic Development Director. The chairman called the meeting to order. Mr. Carter reviewed the bids received for the Bishop Campus Water Supply Contract B, chlorine building and yard piping. Upon a motion of Mr. Wilkerson, the committee voted unanimously to recommend approving the lowest bid received from HG Reynolds Company at a cost of $1,126,174. Mr. Chairman, I'd like to pause there and put that in the form of a motion to approve that contract.
Okay. Everyone's heard the motion. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
The motion carries.
All right, Mr. Carter next reviewed the proposal received for the professional services for design and construction phase services for a new water treatment plant, raw water intake, and distribution center improvements. Upon a motion of Mr. Brinkley, the committee voted unanimously to recommend approving the proposal received from Dewberry Incorporated, partnered with B&B Consultants for professional services for design and construction phase services for a new water treatment plant, raw water intake, and distribution system improvements, and authorized the staff to proceed with negotiating the contract. Again, Mr. Chairman, I'll pause there to make a motion that we execute this agreement.
Okay, Mr. Tanner, any discussion on the motion? All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
The motion carries.
There being no further business, the meeting was adjourned.
Okay. All right, Ms. Blackwell, the Personnel Committee.
The Personnel Committee met on Monday, February 12, 2024 at 8:45 a.m. in the Board of Supervisors meeting room. Members present, Brenda Blackwell, Claudia Lundy, Tom Spencer, Sterling Wilkinson. Also present, Jim Jennings, Andy Hargrove, David Brankley, Dennis Spence, Kirk Gravitt, Wayne Carter, County Administrator, Judy Sheffield, Assistant County Administrator, Alex Gottschalk, Deputy County Administrator, Lisa Wagstaff, Commissioner of Revenue. Ms. Blackwell called the meeting to order. Upon motion of Mr. Tanner, the committee voted unanimously to convene in closed session pursuant to Virginia Code Section 2.2, 3711A1. Supervisors Blackwell, Lundy, Tanner, Wilkinson voted aye. Upon motion of Mr. Tanner, the committee voted unanimously to go back into open session. Supervisors Blackwell, Lundy, Tanner, Wilkinson voted aye. Mr. Chairman, I'll pause to have a motion
Okay.
to go back into open session. Is that right?
No, you don't have to do that now.
Upon motion of Mrs. Lundy, the committee voted to adopt the following certification resolution. Supervisors Blackwell, Lundy, Tanner, Wilkinson voted aye. Man, keep reading. Certification of closed session.
You don't have to read all that, do we, Mr.? No, you don't have to read all that. Just a part down there where we went into the open session to be fine.
Okay.
Just
Upon a motion.
Upon a motion down at the bottom.
Down at the bottom. Oh, okay. Upon a motion of Mr. Wilkinson, the committee voted unanimously to recommend appointing Jenny Whittemore as clerk of the Board of Supervisors.
Put it in a motion.
I pause for a motion.
Y'all have heard the motion. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Congratulations, Ms. Whittemore.
Upon a motion of Mr. Tanner, the committee voted unanimously to recommend following staff's recommendation on appointments for the chief deputies of the Commissioner of Revenue.
Motion for the board. Motion.
Just do it for the board. I'd like to make that motion for the board.
I'd like to make a motion for the full board.
Okay. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor say aye. Aye. The motion carries.
There being no further business, the meeting was adjourned.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Blackwell. You know, that this next report, kind of bittersweet. I've been watching these reports for 24 years, and this is the last one that Mr. Carter will give. And I can't say enough about how much good he has done this county and where he has brought this county to. So Wayne, with that being said,
Okay.
you know, I could keep on talking, but I'm gonna let you do it.
Well, I've been known to do that before. Mr. Blaylock used to tell me I've talked too much, so, you know, I'm going to talk you into the end of this.
He said you reported too much.
He also said, as I remember, Mr. Chairman, I don't know whether we ought to believe this man as much and as fast as he talked. You never missed a beat and said as much and as fast as he talked. You think he could remember the lie if he told it? Which I took that as the best compliment I could ever get because y'all knew I wasn't lying to you. So, with that said, we have the building permits. Again, we had another strong month, large commercial renovation building permit kept us boosted for the month. Building permits, though, still seem to be strong. You have 10 new homes. Permits are still going well in this county, okay, which is a very good sign. Zoning permits, I'm guessing you had some large E&S plan approvals, Robert, for your money? Okay, you have a large number there for the first time in a while. We were able to dive down roughly 85% of our dogs picked up. Again, another excellent month with animal control. You have the sheriff's report. Number of tickets or citations are down a little bit this month. The past month, they did continue to do checks on businesses, et cetera, and answered 1,875 different calls or services. You next have the 911 report. You can see we pretty well stay busy every month. It's about the same numbers, up and down a little bit, but nothing huge, no spikes. You have the calls and the calls for service. The difference between the sheriffs or not is because of the fact that they do their own checking with the mobile data terminals. We are happy to say that for EMS, you can see we have 5 EMTs enrolled for advance. We told y'all we wanted to continue the training of these people. We are. You've had 2 graduate. They're now going to paramedic. You also have other classes hours. We think training is very big. Debbie's really stresses that, so we're happy to see that.
Excellent.
You have the calls by the house. One house had 121 last month. The other one had 103. And then you have the number of calls that the officers went out on, and that was, I think, 19. Yes. Any questions on that? Okay.
Not for me.
With that said, I'll get to this part. Just want to thank the board after 34 and a half years of service to this county. It has truly been an honor and privilege to serve you through my many positions and roles over the years. When I got here, Judy used to get told I was the quiet little one who came across the street and didn't say anything to anybody. Kind of changed along the way, didn't it?
You grew. You were doing your job.
I grew. From the adoption of the county's first zoning ordinance, the implementation of 911 in 1995, this county steadily moved forward through the leadership of many different boards. I've been blessed in this thing with 4 mentors. The first was my father, who I always thought was the smartest man I've ever known. He gave me a lot of words of wisdom over the years that I continue to use, and one of them is I tell everyone, common sense will get you farther than anything. If it doesn't make good common sense, you probably shouldn't do it. There's a reason why. Y'all need to remember that too, in your positions. My next 3 were my R's. Randolph Jones, who taught me pretty much everything about economic development. He did it for this county free for 30 years and then came on for a while. He was Angie's mentor too. Robert Gregory taught me all about budgets and probably most of what I know about being a county administrator. He stayed for 3.5 years to teach me. That's why I stayed for 2 for this. Okay? That's what we were taught to do. And the last was Russell, who been blessed to work with my entire career. He was my sounding board. He kept me out of many troubles. Not all of them. He kept me out of many of them. There's a difference there, Russell.
I mean, I did the best I could.
Some of us just walk into it blindly and go, ooh, okay. Or as I tell people, I'm a lawyer's best friend. I tick people off for a living and got promoted all along the way to do that. So from my R's before, Robert, Russell, and Randolph. But he's a very dear friend whose advice and counsel I truly cherish and respect. Over the last 20 years, this county was able to build many industrial parks through the efforts of Robert Randolph. Those parks are the reason that you have much of your recent growth in this county. You need to remember that. When we built those, people looked around and said, y'all just wasting money. Nobody's ever going to come to Boynton to put a thing over there. You're right. No one came. Microsoft. And they still build it, okay? But we were told that by everybody. It was a waste of money and time. I've had a lot of counties say, we can't afford to build these things. I said, you can't afford not to. That's the reality. Y'all still got to keep looking forward all the time to where the next growth is, because that's your next revenue stream. And y'all need revenue streams because y'all got a lot of wants. And he knows it. Okay. But you got to realize, we landed EDS in 2007, and that got us basically through the Great Recession. Robert always said every time something would hit us, something would come in and pick us up. Okay? And it's been that way all along out here. 2 years later, we landed Microsoft, and what can we say? Their growth has been exponential, especially over the last 4 years, and will for a long time. Always remember, I was told by Robert, the lakes always carry you. And that's the reason why we still have this explosive housing growth you've had for the past 25 years. As I said to you in the back earlier, remember, water's your future. That's going to be the most important commodity you ever have for the next 25 to 50 years. They're not making any more of it, okay? And that's where man's going to follow, is that water. That's one reason why you have the growth you have. Finally, I want to thank all of you. The first 10 years I was here, the board argued all the time, and I'll be honest, Russell remembers, we didn't get a lot accomplished, did we, Russell? Judy remembers some too.
I did.
Board meeting started at 9:30 in the morning. We went till 4:30 in the afternoon. That was a good day. The boards hated each other so much they wouldn't even break bread together. I remember one time Russell and I got dragged. I'm going to reminisce. Got dragged to a lunch by one side. The other side showed up at Dick's Steakhouse. The lady said, "Okay, I can sit y'all right here beside this other group." They looked at him and said, "Nope, we'll wait for a table on the other side of the restaurant." And they did for 30 minutes. That's how much they disliked each other. Okay? Don't ever get like that. Y'all don't always have to agree. I tell people, I said, that's always good that you don't. You get the other side's opinion. But you always have to remember to listen to them and understand their opinion. And as long as you do that, y'all will make great strides. You truly will. And that's what this is all about, working for all the citizens of the county. You don't have to always agree, but you always got to be able to listen. Compromise is what this democracy was actually founded on. Okay? Let me get to the next one. Also, I want to thank y'all. Mecklenburg County is continuing to grow, still with its rural character. And I know some people are upset because, they were upset when we didn't have anything and no growth. Now they're upset because we got growth. They're usually the same people saying the same thing. Okay? Just remember that. They weren't happy either way. You're probably not going to make them that way, okay? Just take that as next, I want to thank our constitutional officers. I've still got a couple of y'all here that I've worked with over the years, especially Ed and Sandra. We always worked for a common goal. And unlike in most other counties, there isn't a fight between administration and the constitutional offices. And I can tell you, I've been to meetings, she's been to meetings, you started going to meetings, and y'all have heard, they don't always get along well, do they? There's a whole lot of argument and fighting and fussing and beating of chests. Don't get that way. Finally, I want to thank all the amazing department heads and staff that I've had the privilege and honor of working with over the years. They've done all the work for Mecklenburg County. That's what makes us the envy of their peers. They'll continue to work with Alex in the future. And finally, to my immediate staff, Olympia, Debbie, Angie, Nancy, Gina, who always kept me straight on all my little Microsoft projects. Yes. Then Jenny, who I hired when she was 18 years old, and she's worked with me most of her life. All of you are in good hands in Alex, and he's going to have your back just like I always have. Finally, to Judy, who I took this job with, because it was going to go get me 20 years ago as a team, and it was the best thing I ever did. With that said, thank you all. It has been an honor and a privilege to have worked with each and every one of you. Y'all gave me the best job I could. Oh, it's okay for you.
One piece of advice I want to say Wayne has given me, he's given me lots of advice. And I'm not going to use the language he used. He just said, Judy, when you say something, you need to own your. I said, yes, sir. He said, when you make a statement, make sure you own it. I said, I will.
Mr. Sladen.
Yeah, I'd like to, weigh in on Wayne. The citizens and maybe the board and the staff, I don't know, can't fully appreciate what Wayne has done. You shouldn't. He doesn't do it to draw attention. But I just want to say, if I may, that there's no way that the staff and the citizens of this county can understand and appreciate what Wayne Carter has done. You are the envy of other counties throughout Southside Virginia and elsewhere, and he has been a huge part of it, honestly.
Thank you, Russell, and that's absolutely 100% true. Wayne, you and I go back long before this board.
55 plus years.
Yeah, so
How about that?
we won't tell any of those stories right here. Not in a public setting. So anyway, but you know where I stand with you, so I don't have to tell you. The one thing that I hope that you taught Alex, that Robert Gregory taught you, is find some money somewhere when you didn't know you had it.
What are you talking about?
So anyway, that's This is, any other board members like to say something, y'all go right ahead, because I think it's an appropriate time right now. Or you can wait till your board member comments, either one.
The one thing I will say right now, I hope he's taught Alex how to keep his report short.
Sorry, I don't know.
Well, they say the chairman's supposed to lead the meetings.
That's right.
I'm just messing with you, Alex.
It's funny today that we it all coincidental, I'm sure, that we got an audit report at the same time Wayne's having his last meeting. So, Alex, we don't want Wayne coming back up here in 12 months or 5 years from there and say, I don't know what y'all did with the money, but you was in good shape when I left. I can see that.
The same way. Save it up both of this way.
I've got those figures written down right here. So Wayne, you're in good. You're in good standing. I can promise you.
Good. I hate good help. I trust.
That's funny.
Anyway, we'll move right along and save the rest of our comments for board member comments. So we're going into the chairman's report. We've got a lot of appointments to make. So y'all kind of work with me right here. The first one is the term of Mr. John Taylor on the Mecklenburg-Brunswick Regional Airport expires February 28th, 2024. He's eligible for reappointment. Anybody would like to make a motion to reappoint him?
I motion that we reappoint Mr. Taylor.
Motion's been made to reappoint Mr. Taylor. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. The term of Mr. Elton Brown on the Lake Gas and Weed Control Council expires on June 30th, 2023. He is eligible for reappointment.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion we reappoint Mr. Brown.
Motion been made to appoint Mr. Brown. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
The motion carries. Term of Mr. Glenn Bob on the Lake Gas and Weed Control Council will expire February the 28th, 2024. He is eligible for reappointment. The member section of their bylaws is below. I have spoken with Mr. Barber, and he is willing to continue to serve if reappointed.
So move, Mr. Chairman.
Motion been made to appoint Mr. Barber. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
The motion carries. Mr. Wayne Carter no longer wishes to serve on the Lake Gas and Weed Control Council. His term does not expire until January 30th, 2026. This does not have to be the county administrator. Alex, I'm going to give you first refusal. Would you like that? Or you mentioned you wanted somebody that maybe.
I believe there is a more appropriate party.
Okay, I'll leave it up to you. Does anyone know somebody that would be a good member of that council that has a lot of ties to the lake and all that? And Wayne, we can do that next month, possibly, right, on now.
I don't think they need to. Wayne called me and said, would I be willing to do it? So
okay.
I'm guessing since most of my district is in the
well, I can't make a motion, but I
may recommend Mr. Tanner for that. Okay.
I figured it was coming. I was waiting for it.
Motion's been made to appoint Mr. Tanner to this position. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
And the motion carries. Districts 2, 4, and 9 do not have representatives on the County Planning Commission, and due to redistricting, the new total for the commission size will be 12, 11 appointees, and David Brankley is the board representative. Ms. Blackwell, you have a person out of your District 2, Derpentine Webster, is that right? You want to make that into a motion to appoint this person?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I move for Deputy Webster to be appointed to the Planning Commission.
Okay, all in favor of that motion, say aye.
Aye.
The motion carries. Ms. Lundy, Dolores Simmons is your appointee
Yes.
for District 4.
Yes.
We'll make that as a motion.
I would like to appoint Ms. Dolores Simmons for District 4 Planning Commission.
All right. All in favor of that motion, say aye.
Aye.
The motion carries. Mr. Gravitt, in District 9, you've brought up Reggie Arrington.
Yes, sir. Go ahead and make a motion. We appoint Mr. Arrington to the Planning Commission.
All right, motion's been made. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, item M-1D, Mr. Charles Jones served on the Seaside Planning District Commission as one of the elected officials.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to make a motion that Mr. Kirk Gravitt be appointed to be the elected official for the Planning Commission.
Okay, motion's been made that we appoint Mr. Gravitt to the Seaside Planning District Commission. All in favor of that motion, say aye.
Aye.
Mr. M.J. Colgate has resigned as the Seaside Planning District Commission as a citizen at large. His term does not expire to December 30th, 2025. I think Mr. Tanner has a name for that position.
Mr. Carter, you had the gentleman's name we spoke about.
Yeah, I haven't spoken to him. I don't know if you
Okay.
have or not either, so I think we
I have not
probably
heard back
postpone
from-
for 1 month
All right.
until
We'll
such time as.
Table that.
Table
one
that till
until next-
March.
Yes, sir.
Okay. The term of Mr. Billy Wilkerson on the Industrial Development Authority expires on February the 28th, 2024. He is eligible for reappointment.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we accept Mr. Billy Wilkerson as the Industrial Development Authority on that appointment to continue.
The motion's been made. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
The motion carries. Mr. Wayne Carter serves on the Industrial Development Authority ex officio. He should continue to be represented, this should be continued to be represented by the county administrator, Mr. Scott Shaw.
I make a motion, we appoint Mr. Gutschall.
All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Mr. Wayne Carter serves as alternate on the Roanoke River Service Authority. His term does not expire until June 30th, 2026. He no longer wishes to serve. This does not have to be the county administrator. Mr. Gottschall, you'll,
I'm happy to do it until such time as somebody who's passionate about water infrastructure materializes in this county.
okay, well, entertain a motion to put Mr. Gottschall on the.
So moved.
All in favor of the motion, say aye. Aye. Congratulations. Oh, let me see. Mr. Wayne Carter serves as ex officio on the Joint Education Committee. It should continue to be represented by the county administrator, and I couldn't agree more. The
I have
motion-
asked him, and Mr. Gonchal.
Okay, motion's been made. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Mr. Wayne Carter serves on the MAC Regional Industrial Facilities Authority, RIFA. It should continue to be represented by the county administrator, and I would love to know what those acronyms stand for.
That is the MAMAC RIFA. That is for the regional industrial park that we're in with Greenville County and the city of Emporia on the mega site right outside of Emporia.
Okay.
Angie's a member of it. I'm a member. I think Mr. Tanner's the alternate, and hopefully.
I'd like to appoint Ms. Gottschall, please.
Motion's been made. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right. Mr. Wayne Carter serves as the member of the Meherrin River Regional Jail Authority. It should continue to be represented by the county administrator.
That is actually in the Bible.
I make a motion, we reappoint Mr. Gutschall.
Motion's been made. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Congratulations, Mr. Gottschall.
You got to list all these, don't you?
You writing them down.
I've been to a lot of them already.
Mr. Wayne Carter serves on the Community Criminal Justice Board. It should continue to be represented by the county administrator.
Mr. Gottschall, please.
Motion's been made. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Mr. Wayne Carter serves on the Chief Local Elected Officials Board. While elected officials, as is the name of this group, they discuss workforce development issues, and Mr. Carter thinks Angie Kellett would be an appropriate replacement.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Motion's been made to replace Angie Kellett to this board. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Congratulations, Angie. Mr. Wayne Carter serves on the Community Policy Management Team, CPMT. Mr. Carter serves as the chairman and has agreed to remain, as this does not have to be the county administrator. Congratulations, Mr. Carter.
Thanks a lot.
Mr. Wayne Carter serves on the VGA board as a member. It is up to the board to determine who replaces him, either a board member or Alex Gottschall, as Angie Kellett already serves on this board. Any discussion on this one?
I think that the county administrator should be,
Yes.
I'm the alternate in it, but I think the county administrator should be.
Good with you, Alex? Okay. Motion's been made. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, very good.
Wasn't too painful.
All right, you got the minutes to the Roanoke River Service Authority. I hope everybody,
Board of Equalization.
wait a minute, that's all I got.
Board of Equalization.
Yeah, we don't have that one on here.
We don't have it, I'm following the computer, I don't have it on my,
It's on the agenda, but there's
on the
no-
paper copy.
There's no members in the item in F because we have to have a dialogue for representation.
I sent out separate
Yeah, that was the one she
information
sent a big list of names out for.
earlier.
Okay, in the email with the list of names. Okay, Lisa? You want to talk about that a little bit?
I mean, you won't.
Right now, we have 3 names.
What are the occupations or background of the three that you have? Because
LJ Dornack, who's a real estate commercial appraiser.
Okay.
Clark Dodson, who was a realtor, and then James Jefferson. Who
Business
owns
person.
Newsom.
Okay.
Yeah. So they are the three now we have to.
Yeah, I sure would like to see if you got a good group, don't get me wrong, and an entire list that you mailed out.
Yeah,
all
they
of
were
them are
just
highly
suggestions.
qualified. I sure would like to see an ag person kind of fill that position in. It's a lot of land in the
And
county.
I thought about that, and that time of year.
Yeah, because I remember back in the day, they wanted, an ag person.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As much as a realtor and that kind of thing.
Right.
So I'll leave that up to y'all, whoever you, go ahead, Alex.
Okay, so just for reference purposes, section 58.1-3374 sets out the qualifications and the total number of members for the Board of Equalization for the general power, which we fall under. It states that each board should have no less than 3, no more than 5, or the number of local election districts in the locality, whichever is greater. So we actually should have 9 members of this board because the greater number of 5 and the number of local election districts is 9. We have not historically adhered to that, but we will need to do that conform going forward. Of those members, it says appointments to the Board of Equalization shall be broadly representative of the community. 30% of the members of the board shall be commercial or residential real estate appraisers, other real estate professionals, builders, developers, or legal or financial professionals, and at least one such member shall sit in all cases involving commercial, industrial, or multifamily residential property unless waived by the taxpayers. So of those 9, then we're pretty much 3 of those have to be, at least 3 of those have to be appraiser, real estate professional, builder, so on and so forth.
Okay, a couple of questions popped up while you were reading that. What's the most that's ever been on it back in the day?
What?
5.
Currently 5.
Does it get?
It's always been 5 as long as I've been here.
And what I'm leading up to is you mentioned that you have one for each district, so you could have 9 people. Does it get bogged down if you've got that many people? And if you got to have all of them there, if you've got 9 and 3 of them, it's not but 6. I don't know. What's the wishes of the board on that?
I don't think we have a choice. I
think we need 9.
I think the way the law reads is that we are supposed to have 9. We always should have had 9, or at least since whenever it was amended, and it just didn't occur.
And you've got 3 now.
Yes, I had 5.
And you had out of that list.
Okay. Could I add one to that one?
16.
The one that you had on your list.
Okay.
There was a list of people.
Yeah, 16
Okay.
on the list.
Okay, I want to add Wells.
Yes, I hadn't, like I said, they were just suggestions, so I hadn't.
So, Mr. Chair, members of the board, I think the discussion at this point needs to be if you all want to retain the appointments or you want to defer to Lisa and have in her judgment find the candidates and have her recommend them back to you for the next meeting with 1 per district.
When do you need this finalized by?
Well, they have to begin setting July 1st.
So we
and
But we have to have training in there also.
So we got a month or 2 we could.
Well, you got to get them trained. You got to realize you've
Okay.
only got 3 that have training.
Okay.
The other 6 have got to go to school. Okay, so that's not like you just settle it, and they've got to go to school in order to be on.
Yeah,
If they don't go to school, they can't serve.
So
You
you.
appoint them next month. Will it give you enough time?
So Alex, so you saying we need 6 more people then?
Yes. I think the question becomes, do you all want to find those people, or do you want to have Lisa find them and recommend them back to you?
I think it's probably going to take a little of both, to be honest with you.
Why don't we let her come up with a list and send them back out to the board and staff and say, well, let's work for y'all.
And they need to be specific for each district on the board. They need to live in that district or.
I would suggest that's not a requirement, but probably a best practice.
Okay.
To be geographically represented.
Yeah.
I mean, that makes sense.
You find out where the 3.
Yeah, that eliminate
that we
one of
got
the 3
now.
that you already got.
Jenny, did you look
Do
that
any
up?
of them overlap already in the same district?
They're in this email, I think.
Pretty sure,
Well,
Dennis is covered with Mr. Nordak.
Out on Ferry Hill.
I'll say, because some of these,
Ferry Hills, so actually he would be Davis.
Okay.
four of them live in the same
Who's that?
district.
So Clark Dodson is already on. He would represent your district if you wish to keep him on.
Okay.
LJ Dornak is in town of South Hill. And then
James Jefferson.
James Jefferson.
Well, it depends on where in town.
He lives out on Antlers Road.
Where he's in town, yeah.
So he would probably be
Jim's, I would guess.
Yeah, I would think.
I think it's Cheryl.
Right.
I've heard of
We can
that.
send that out if if y'all want to keep those three that are already trained, then that board member wouldn't have to find the representative.
That's fine.
Okay.
I'm good.
Yeah,
with that.
just get us some names, send them back out like you did. You know, everybody you send's very qualified in my opinion, so.
And if y'all want to add, just let me know.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
All right, so, we're good with that one then. All right, we got the,
The table.
yeah, we're gonna table that till March meeting. And you can keep us abreast of what's going on there on what we need to do.
Yeah, I just figured that one has a lot of research involved, so I, figured.
Yeah, okay. All right, got the Roanoke River, Service Authority minutes there. And the Lake Country Airport Commission minutes. Y'all had time to review those, and consent calendar.
Motion that we receive the consent there.
Okay, Mr. Hargrove made a motion. We approve the consent calendar. All in favor say aye.
Ah,
The motion carries. Thank you. All right, board member comments. You want to start here? Mr. Wilkerson, you want to go?
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think both of the, about the Parkview site, I was very impressed with both of the, both the presentations. The Echelon Resources, they seem to be, very experienced in the field, and that's exactly what we need to make sure it's done right. I was impressed by that side of it. It's a very needed part, the housing in this area, as we all know, it's a very aggressive market now, and I'm glad to see that. And then, the boosters, he mentioned it was a 10-year project. I just want to make sure that we need to be a long-term partner on this. 10 years, a lot can happen. Things change, but we need to be a vested partner if this is the route that we do go, which I am for. But we need to make sure that we're there for the long haul with this project. And I really can't think of a better usage, for this property. How can you have a better investment than for your children to last for hopefully, 40, 50 years or whatever it may be. It's long term. So I'm glad that they took that stance and brought it here. Good to hear. Glad to hear, the good audit, the clean audit. There's so much going on in this county. To be in the position we are, we're very blessed. I was glad to hear that. And then, congratulations to Ed and Sandra. We could say it again and again, but they've done so much for this county. We should all be thankful for their leadership, and I'm completely confident that Ms. Wagstaff and Ms. Siemens, will fill the shoes and lead us into the future in a way that we need to be. And, going back again to Wayne, I'm sure all also has something to say about this, and it'd be repetitive, but it is what it is. He's been such a huge asset to us, to all of us. When I came on this board, he really helped me transition into things, and I'd always heard before I got on the board, how good a guy he was, and a few other things. But anyway, he was great to work with, and we're forever thankful for that. So that's all that I have, Mr. Chairman.
Ms. Black?
Yes, I'd like to congratulate Mrs. Bell on her blessed 110 years.
Thank you.
And congratulations to Mr. Taylor and Ms. Langford. Hope that they will find in their retirement great joy and rest and relaxation. For the presentations from Echelon and Parkview boosters, they were excellent, showcasing what we need in this county. Very impressed with Echelon. And I was looking at the lofts that they have developed, and I said, gosh, I wouldn't mind having one of those. Wayne, it was delightful being under your leadership, learning your words of wisdom. I did teach you, right?
Yes, ma'am, you did.
No, pay it off.
Pay it off.
But I really, this board is excellent. You know, it feels, you feel welcomed, feel like family. So it's really great. Thank you for your leadership.
Mr. Grant?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just wanted to reiterate what both Mr. Wilkerson and Ms. Blackwell have said. Enough can't be said about the people that serve this county and their devotion to us moving forward. And I just want to, even though I haven't served with y'all that long, I've known y'all for quite a while. And I just want to say thank y'all so much. As far as the park and at the Parkview High School, I think it's something like piggybacking on what they said, that it is just something that we need. I remember when I played football growing up, I think we picked a cow pasture somewhere and just ran around. But it's something that we definitely need, and it's a big push for that. I also wanted to tell everybody that Mr. Gottschalk and I did make our way up to Richmond not too long ago. We saw each other, so both he and I can say we were there. It was a good learning experience. I made my way around the Capitol and was introduced walked around both chambers, the new one and the old one. At the end of the day, though, we met with delegates and senators, and some of them are about as polar opposite, I believe, as we can be. I don't know what the future holds. I hope we can hold it together, but the future is a little bit concerning, and all I can say is just, depending on how the cookie crumbles, we might just want to brace for impact. I don't know what might happen or what might not happen, but it was a huge eye opener. What may be to come. So I want to say that. Thank all of our first responders. Hope everybody has a safe rest of their month, and I'll see you next month.
Thank you. Thank you for the comments. Mr. Brinkley, I will get you to go next, but I kind of feel like, it may be unfair for you all the time there, because Andy is always going to have the last word since he got to be vice chair.
I think I better get enough in to start with. These guys, all of y'all have said pretty much what I wanted to say. The Echelon and the Parkview Boosters thing, I thought that was real good, and I know we got a process to go through that, but I think we need to move it along pretty quickly, and if that's what we want to go, I think we need to keep that going and all. Wayne, you're funny you said something about that park over here, the industrial park over here in Borden, it wouldn't be nothing up there. I think my daddy might have one of those when he was on the board. I always remember Gene Coleman, when daddy was live, he would say, next time you see your daddy, tell him we got a little something over on that red golf. And so we did. No question. Think about it. But Wayne, you've been a real pleasure to work with, and with this, way you kind of kept everything. I mean, not only the board kind of straight, but the staff and everybody. And, people will come up to me sometime, and I know this is going to be hard to believe, and say, he's one arrogant son of a gun. And then I defend you. I defended you on that. I said, he gets stuff done. You get stuff done. You know how to do it. And I think it's good. So, like I say, Alex, we don't want him back up here in a few years saying, what happened to the money? We're going to blame it on you. The other thing I want to bring up, and like I say, this may be something that we may talk about at the next meeting or some way to do it, but, before our meeting, we talk about the chairman gives this explanation. We get ready to say a prayer. and I know that's a political thing to write that a few people think, but I feel like we almost apologizing for praying before this meeting, and I think that's totally wrong. And you know, like I say, I know that's politically correct, but do we always have to do everything politically correct? So I think it's something that I'd like to see us at a board talk about going forward. You know, maybe at the next meeting or some way we can actually talk about it. But maybe take a look at that. But Mr. Chairman, that's all I got.
All right, Mr. Franklin, appreciate it. Mr. Taylor?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First off, as been said, the projects at Parkview, I think, will be a tremendous asset to this county. What Mr. Dawson and his group of folks out there have done is tremendous, and I'm with Mr. Wilkinson. I think we need to move this forward. We need to support them because they're taking care of our kids. They're doing projects for our kids, so I think we definitely need to look forward to that. I also encourage people, we're in the midst of our comprehensive plan here in the county. They can go to that website, mecklenburg44.com, and submit any information they would like to submit, or take a little survey monkey on there about that. But please submit your concerns or ideas of where you would like to see the county go in the next 20, 30 years. Also, I'd like to thank Mr. Bunnell from the Emergency Services Department. He did a whole lot setting up some training at Parkview Middle School for the departments here in the county. They were able to utilize that school since the asbestos has been abated, and have done some really good training there, some training that you might not get but once or twice in a lifetime, to be able to do stuff on a commercial building like that. So I really want to thank him. Well, Wayne, I ring you last. I want to congratulate you on your retirement. You told me when I first got here, you got to learn how to read the tea leaves. I think you did it pretty good. Sometimes your tea might have needed a little sugar, but you learned how to read them anyway. You've definitely left this county better than you found it. I will say that, and thank you for your years of services to the citizens and the staff and the leadership you provided here. You're one of the largest reasons this county is a leader in Southside Virginia, and we appreciate that. And I will say, may the rest of your retired life be the best part of your life. That's all I got, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Taylor. Ms. London?
Yes, thank you. I would like to thank the board for the resolution for Mrs. Bell. I know you gave it to her at the at her rest home, but we are just reading it today. She has the original plaque already that had been given to her on the 29th. So thank you again. Also about the Parkview booster, I hope our county will go and vote toward that particular project. It's really needed for our children and for our young adults here. It could be used for many purposes. To Mr. Taylor, Ms. Langford, I have enjoyed working with you. And Mr. Taylor, I know I have worried you to death calling asking you prices. I don't know if he's out there or not.
Okay.
Prices on things for my constituents. Thank you both, and I enjoyed your fellowship. Mr. Carter, I have enjoyed my 13 and a half years with you. I've heard many comments from the community when I told them that you were retiring and someone else was stepping in. Where Wayne going to? And I said, Wayne is of age, and he said he's going to retire. So I hope you're blessed and happy retirement. And I hope your next chapter in your life will be a blessed one. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. London. Mr. Spence?
I would just like to echo what the other members have said. All of that was said very well, so don't need me to repeat it, but I want to echo that. To Wayne, I got to tell a quick story. I hadn't met Wayne for the longest time. You know, I knew of Wayne. You know, you see his name and stuff, and but never actually had a conversation with him. So my brother Sam knows Wayne, and he says, "Oh yeah, you know Wayne Carr." I don't know him. Yeah, you do. You know when he goes on telling these stories. Don't know the guy. Yeah, I know he's county administrator. And I said, yeah, you know him. Well, lo and behold, Wayne walks up to me one day, shakes my hand, introduces himself, and I'm like, oh, well, good to finally meet you, you know. But yes, I've been knowing him for a while by name, but didn't have the opportunity to actually have the personal interaction. I got to say, the short time that since that first handshake, it's been like I've been knowing you. You know, I actually have been knowing you for years. You know, so I appreciate that, how welcoming you've been and how helpful you've been. And, you know, good job since you've been here. Good job. And just good luck to you. You know, congratulations. Enjoy your retirement.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Spence. Mr. Holgram?
Well, thank you so much. To Wayne, I'm going to miss you a lot. You're a pretty good fellow. Many times I come into your office and I get ready to say something and you will say no. And then I look at you and say, what? You said, what you want? And I'm hoping you haven't trained Mr. Alex that way.
Sorry, God.
Yeah. But I do want Mr. Alex to know that even when you said no, I may turn around and walk away, but I'll be back. I'm going to miss Miss Langford, Mr. Taylor. Miss Langford, I don't guess you remember that, but I didn't like you when you sent out those tax notices.
I think you told me one.
But when I paid them, I fell back in love with you. And I do want to thank everyone who called me with their condolences that unexpectedly I lost my brother, took to the hospital, and that night he passed away. And I want to thank everyone for that. And I also want to thank Mr. Slayton as well for giving me some advice as to which direction I needed to go. Mr. Slayton, thank you so very much. And so with that said, with the boosters and with the resources of the department and so forth. And I've listened to Mr. Dawson when he was talking about how the kids will come and play and train and so forth. But you know, that is to our benefit because those kids, when they started in the early age, middle school and high school are going to put them on the map. And so you might even have some pros that are coming out of that because they are trained early so that when they get there, you'll have a better team. And not only that, is that it's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure to work on this board. And Mr. Gravett, there's a road called Lookover. And Mr. Brinkley and I have been talking about this road for 6-7 years. And every time we talk, Mr. Brinkley, look over road. So I'm asking you, if you want to be a friend of mine, please do not look over road. That's all I have to say, Mr. Chairman. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Hargrove. I'll follow up on that. Mr. Gravett, you know, if we ran everything like the federal government, thank goodness we don't, you'd have every road in your district paved, and the heck with the rest of them. It doesn't work that way here. So anyway, I completely agree with everything everybody said, and it's no need me repeating it again. I mean, it's all y'all said it very eloquently. And a couple things I do want to bring up. The Ag Development Committee, each member needs to see who their representative is. And since we're in a new session, need to appoint somebody. You know, if you don't want the one that's there, I'll send that. I've got the list, Jenny, if you want me to shoot it to you. I'm sure you got it also. And by March, maybe you can come up with somebody's name, and we'll have a meeting sometime late spring on that. I think Alex was our guest speaker last year, so I'll find somebody to speak to that and everything. I did have a teacher reach out to me. FFA week is right now, Dr. Warner. Am I correct on that? They, at the high school, getting members of the community to sign a proclamation supporting FFA week. I've been invited to do that. I just want the blessings of this board to be able to do that. I would like for any member of this board that can come to come. It'll be 1 to 3:30 Friday afternoon. Okay. Would you like to speak on behalf of that or what y'all are doing on that, Dr. Warren? Right up here. Yeah.
It's actually Career and Technical Education Month as well. So we're going to be doing a presentation at our upcoming school board meeting this coming Monday. Mrs. Patton will be introducing the different programs that we have, including Mrs. Witten, who's our FFA sponsor at the middle school, and she's having the proclamations signed this Friday in preparation for that program.
Okay.
Thank you.
So I'm going to do that, and I think Mr. Brinkley and Mr. Wilkinson said they would try to come. As Mr. Gravitt, I'd sort of like to see you if you could come. Everybody, I'd like to see everybody come if they could. So it's, I guess it's floating kind of thing from 1 to 3:30. Am I right? Yes, in New High School.
This Friday.
This Friday, yeah. Is that entering on the back side back there?
It's supposed to start at 1:30.
Okay, 1:30 to 3, something like that. Yeah.
1:30 to 2:30.
2:30, 1:30 to 2:30. All right. Good enough. I'm glad you cleared me up on that. Yeah. Where do we need to go in? At the school in the front? Oh.
They go into the middle school side.
In the back? No, on the side, on the west side of the school.
You gotta go in through the front door.
Go in.
And then they'll direct you to the.
Oh, okay, go in the front door. Okay. All right, very good. You know, Wayne, I got to finish up with you. I can't say enough. I mean, I could talk for an hour and a half about where you and I have been and what we've, been exposed to on this board and all the people we've been exposed to. But golly day, what a positive impact you've made on this county, and just a people person. And and one thing that really stood out to me that you've always done since I've been here is you always kept a board member in the loop. You didn't let something sneak up behind them. You always told them what was going on, and you may ought to check into this. This is what's going on in your district, and you made us look good. So I greatly appreciate that. And Wayne, the way I can describe Wayne, and it won't take me but a second here. Wayne could walk out this building right here, and it'd be a guy driving by on a 1996 extended cab Toyota Tacoma, and Wayne say, "Hey, Joe, how you doing?" Joe say, "Hey, Wayne, how you doing?" So you're just a people person, and you have done a superb job, and I hope you enjoy your retirement, and I'm sure I'll see you probably more than I've been seeing you, probably. So
Thank you, and thank you all the board members. Mr. Branks, I'm so sorry that I have evidently offended some of your.
I got them straight.
But again, I want to thank all of y'all. It has truly been an honor and privilege and a pleasure to have been here. As I tell people, I was lucky enough to get a great job. Okay, everybody else looked around at me and told me I wouldn't have your job for anything in the world, and I fell into it and I loved it. And thank y'all so much. I was blessed, like I said, with great staff. Counterparts, everything else, good boards. So it's just been fun, and I will miss y'all, I will tell you. But, if you ever have a question, just give me a call. I'm just going to hang around.
I was say, don't change your cell number.
you change your phone number?
No, don't change your phone number.
No, don't change your phone number. Okay. I think now we need a motion to go into closed session.
So move.
Motion's been made to go in closed session. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
We're going to take a 5-minute break, and then we're going to do closed session. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We are now back in open session. I'll entertain a motion for certification.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Everybody, in agreement on the motion of certification, say aye.
Aye.
All right. Anybody have anything they'd like to bring up in open session here? Not?
Adjourn.
Stand adjourned. All right. There you go.